Shokugeki no Sanji, Food Wars. Apparently this is the final chapter in the saga of Sanji. And it's been an absolutely fabulous ride up until this point. This series has really given Sanji a lot of due shine. And honestly, not in the action department, which plenty of Sanji haters seem to think is the only thing that matters for the character. But Sanji is not a primary fighter. He is a cook. And to pair this character with the creator and artist of Food Wars, a match made in heaven. Especially considering that Oda has created his own cookbooks and Sanji's restaurant is a major attraction. It just makes sense. And we've explored some fun hits for Sanji as well. From right before he was recruited by Luffy to not too long after the events of Arlong Park, the gourmet send-off to Vivi, all the way to his adventures in Wano. It has been a great outing for our favorite cook, and if this should be the final chapter of that saga, I'm all for it. I'm definitely going to try to pick up this volume once it's released. So join me, won't you, as I check out the possible final tale of Shokugeki no San, won't you? Alright, Sanji looking like a prince, escaping bars? Huh, something to do with the Germa, maybe? Yep, final chapter, second in command. Oh, this is when he escaped, when Reiju sent him off after he was essentially disowned by his father. You see the young Reiju saying to him, "You're a boy, stop crying so much. Don't you ever come back here, understood? The seas are vast. Someday, I promise you'll find nice people." And then you cut to Sanji during his early years on the Baratie saying, "You were right, out on the vast sea. I finally met them. Jody, Eliza, this was fate. I became a cook so that one day I'd meet lovely ladies like you." And you see Sanji, little baby Sanji, macking on some gorgeous ladies. As they say, "Oh Sanji, you flirt, what a smooth talker. But don't tease us so much, okay?" Sanji says, "Tease? I never. I'm deadly serious. Please, just for today, allow me to be your knight." And he starts whipping around the rose as if it were a sword. A gentleman at the next table says, "You there, boy, you're quite good with basic sword strikes. Have you been trained in the sword?" Ooh, he noticed. That was always the thing that got me about certain moments in One Piece, that Sanji always seemed more skilled than he let on. That was always the weirdest thing about Sanji. He was so much more skilled, so much more capable. And the moment we found out about his lineage, it's just like, oh, that makes so much sense now. Young Sanji says nervously, "Huh? No, I just, But in comes Zeph saying, "Are you slacking off again, squirt?" Yeah, he boots Sanji into the kitchen saying, "Back to work, you louts." As the chefs say, Move. Is table 4 soup not ready yet? Sanji, where do you go off to, huh? Peel these. You've got 5 minutes. And why ain't the pans washed yet, you slug? As he's handed a whole thing of potatoes, Sanji says, "Hey, I'm not your servant. Do it yourself, thug twins." It's Patty and Carney. Patty says, "What, you got a problem, Runt?" Carney adds, "Rookies do the crummy chores. That's how it works. Listen, Runt, cooks with 100 times your experience flock to this ship day after day. And they all hope to work for Red Leg Zeph. But you were a cook's apprentice on a dinky boat." Sanji says, Hey, I've had plenty of practice too." Carney questions, "Oh yeah? How many years of real experience?" Sanji states, "A little over 2 years." Patty and Carney start to laugh, obviously angering Sanji as he says, "Just you wait. One day I'm gonna kick your butt." Patty says, Yeah, listen to the little servant whine." Carney adds, "Try all you want. The day a runt like you beats us just ain't coming." Sanji peels the potatoes in a huff, saying, "Dang it." But he looks over and notices Zeph cooking up a storm, the master in his natural element. Sanji obviously trying to pick up a few tips and pointers. Night falls on the Baratie. Patty, Carney, and the various different chefs are all asleep. Zeph, looking very distinguished, reading his paper by lantern light with a drink in hand, glasses on, like, oh, Zeph looking like a hottie. And a lot like that actor who's going to be playing him in the live action series. Now that I really get a good look at him, like, man, they found someone who just looks like Zeph. Live action Zeph. You then see Zeph walking down the hall, noticing a light on, and as he peeks in, he sees Sanji feeding a small mouse. Sanji says, "Well, How's it taste? This is my best one to date. I practice it all, night after night. The mouse is munching down on it, then just breathes and walks off. Sanji's pissed by the rat's nonchalant attitude, saying, "Hey, little fuzzbutt. I guess that's a restaurant rat for you. They're picky." He then thinks back to his brothers in Germa, telling him that he's a failure. "You're so weak it's pathetic." Sanji says to himself, "I'm not gonna let anyone make fun of me ever again. Stupid cooks, crap geezer. I'm gonna make you respect me." Okay, let's see if I can improve last week's recipe. Change up the fond, get rid of any off flavors, and Zeph just stands outside the doorway, listening. The next day, Zeph is told by one of the chefs, "What? They asked for Sanji specifically?" The chef on the Den Mushi says, "Yes, sir. A regular called and requested him." We see a gorgeous lady saying, "What kind of dishes does Sanji make? I'd like to request from him, thanks. An entree, if possible," is what she asked. Patty laughs. "Sanji? No way. Not happening. The entree is the keystone of a meal. Chef Zeph won't let anyone else do it, let alone some kid trainee." But Zeph says, "If that's what the customer wants, that's what the customer gets. I'll let him do the cooking at least." Patty laughs and says, "See?" But then he realizes, as well as Carney, what Zeph just said. Sanji is flushed, questioning Zeph, "You will?" But Zeph puts his remaining foot down and says, "But I'm watching every step. If I don't think it's up to Baratie standards, it doesn't go out. Instead, you'll go out in its place and beg the customer's forgiveness on hands and knees. Got it? Well, you doing it or not?" Sanji says, "Huh? I'll do it. You bet I will." The customer on the Den Mushi says, "You will? That's great. I'll come by next week, and I'm in the mood for a red meat dish. What would you recommend?" Sanji excitedly says, "Oh, in that case, what about some scarlet red ram? There's a recipe I'm working on that uses various lamb cuts and cooks them in different ways." And then we have a statement. "Scarlet red ram, a breed of placid mountain sheep. Scarlet red rams are known for the tenderness of their lamb's meat. Both their lamb and mutton have a distinctive aroma, reminiscent of strawberries and wine." Ooh. Excerpt from the Encyclopedia of Rare and Unique Ingredients, East Blue. Oh god, here comes the French. Sanji says, "Rotorie, frire, griller, and more. A plate with a few bites of each cut, drizzled with perfect special sauce. It's a rainbow of different colors, flavors, and textures, all in one dish." The customer says, "Ooh, sounds lovely. I want to try that. I'll see you next week." Patty comes over, questioning as Sanji hangs up the Den Mushi. "Hey, how come you get a special order when we don't? No fair." Sanji gloats, "Ha! Go ahead and weep, you third-rate cooks. I'm gonna nail this, just you watch." Uh-oh. Several of the chefs looking a little pissed. But you see Sanji going at it. Practice, practice, practice. Oh, you even see Zeph and Sanji out hunting, buying ingredients. Oh, that's cool. With Zeph saying, "How long are you gonna take?" And Sanji checking carrots saying, "Give me one more minute. Let's see. The tastier one is probably..." He feeds it to the mouse. The mouse dismisses Sanji's cooking, pissing Sanji off again. You see Sanji cooking into the wee hours of the night. And then the day of arrives. He's prepared everything, saying, okay, here comes the French. "The Duuz-Diz-Din gravy, and made from lamb's bone broth, is done. The bell pepper and eggplant confit garnish is ready. The spices, coarse ground black pepper, oregano, and basil are measured. Perfect. Everything is ready to go." And then the moment arrives. While Sanji is serving up plates, in come the women he was flirting with before. The very same women who had asked Sanji to create that special meal. I love how everything's coming full circle. They come and sing, "Sanji, hello. We look forward to dinner." Sanji, with hearts in his eyes, says, "Jody, Eliza, I'm overjoyed to see you lovely ladies." But as Sanji's distracted, the cooks, who weren't too happy about Sanji getting a special order, retreat into the kitchen. They say, "That runt gets to make an entree? How dare he insult us like that? Right, he's only been here a matter of weeks while we've got over a decade of experience. We've never gotten to make an entree, let alone a new recipe. You know what? I think he needs a lesson in humiliation, as they reach for something specific in the pantry. Sanji walks into the kitchen and says, okay, it's time I cut the lamb and season it for. But he's shocked as he says, where is it? It's gone! And Sanji comes bursting into the kitchen from the pantry saying, hey, which one of you did it? Who took the lamb I had in the pantry? Patty questions, what are you talking about? Don't look at us. Carney adds, are you sure you really looked? Sanji states, yes, it vanished. Much to Patty and Carney's shock, the mean chefs from before state, are you saying it grew legs and walked off? Procuring ingredients is a basic skill for a chef. If you can't manage even that, you're going to inconvenience an important customer. Sanji thinks to himself, he's right. If I don't start cooking the lamb soon, it won't be done in time to serve as the entree. The bully chefs state, might as well go beg for forgiveness now, eh? Get it over with, right? Zeph eyes them, knowing that they were up to something. But Sanji's in a panic, thinking to himself, now what? Should I use beef as substitute pork? No, I can't. I chose all the seasoning to pair with the red ram's unique flavor profile. Use any other meat and the whole dish will taste off. The mean chefs think to themselves, head chef Zeph isn't so forgiving that he'll allow you to serve some dish you ad-lib on the fly. Give up and hoist the white flag. But then Sanji notices something specific in the pantry. As Sanji moves towards it, Patty and Carney question what he's up to. Sanji states, we aren't out of red ram meat. We still have a whole carcass in there. Carney is shocked. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you going to... No. Patty states, you can't seriously mean to use that side of mutton. Even you have to know that red ram mutton isn't like any other meat. Of course it's not. As sheep grow from lambs into mature rams, the flavor of their meat grows stronger. It gets quirkier too. If that wasn't bad enough, red rams have a unique trait that makes their meat even harder to handle. When they reach 1 year of age, they go through a gigantic growth spurt, and they develop a layer of body fat that's as hard as armor. The fuck? There goes the One Piece side of things. There's no way a scrawny runt like you can butcher that carcass. And man, that ram carcass looks fucking stiff. Like it's got armor on it. But Carney turns to Patty and says, a runt like him? As if you could do it either, Patty. Patty snaps back. Same goes for you. There's only one man in this ship who can, and that's head chef Zeph. But Sanji simply tells him, Patty, Carney, carry this to the table for me. Patty's shocked. Didn't you hear me? You can't. But Sanji says, do it. I don't want to leave the customer waiting a second longer than needed. Please. Shocked by this sincerity, Carney says, okay. So the hunk of giant carcass is laid out on the table. Things bigger than Sanji himself. Sanji's already sweating. He breathes a heavy sigh. He thinks, it's okay, I've got this. Recall what you saw the crap geezer do each time. Sanji opens his tie, tightens his scarf, grabs his blade, raises it high. He thinks, Collier, and he slices at the carcass, managing to actually damage and open it, much to the surprise of Carney, Patty, and Zeph himself. Sanji raises the blade yet again. Epaulet, Colette, Sile, Poitrine. He strikes at the carcass again and again and again. Hiyoth! Sanji continues to slice through the carcass, making it look almost easy. Patty cries out, by the blue! He really did it! The mean chefs from before state amongst themselves, you're kidding me! Damn it! I thought if we hid the lamb side, that'd be enough to make him give up. But then a voice calls at them from behind. So you mucked about with the ingredients set to go to table? Threatening a customer's opportunity to have a meal, eh? Zeph grabs the chef by the head. That there's a sin, boy. Come here, let me show you just how big a one it is. Meanwhile, Sanji's whipping away at one of the bowls as Carney analyzes what he's up to, thinking, what's he... Ah, that's a blend of basil, pine nuts, and garlic. Once whisked into olive oil to make a pesto, it'll nicely ameliorate. I think that's the word it said. Ah, that is a word I've not heard before. It'll nicely ameliorate any of the mutton's flank. Patty analyzes it too, thinking he's marinating the meat in an onion and mitake mushroom paste too. Their enzymes will tenderize the mutton, getting its texture close to that of lamb. He's adjusting his original recipe in just the right way to account for the changes. When did he learn such flexibility? Patty can't help but state, "Hold it! There's no way anything a runt like you makes is good. The head chef doesn't have to taste this. Is this your gravy? I'ma taste it and let you know how bad." But the moment Patty puts it in his mouth, he thinks, It's amazing." And Sanji, he hasn't stopped, not even glancing over at Patty, still cooking up a storm, sweating through the heat and flames, using the passion of his past to continue forward, remembering the beatings he received from his brother as they called him a loser, saying, "You're a defective failure," being caught cooking by his father, Judge, who would say, "Royalty does not cook. You are an embarrassment to the family." Sanji thinks back to the day he ran away from it all, thinking, "I left that place, ran from it, but I'm not running from the kitchen. This is my battlefield. I'll always stand my ground here." Meanwhile, the mean chefs have been promptly punished and stripped of their uniforms as well for good measure. And oh, baby, the food that Sanji has whipped up, man, I already ate. And just the way the meat looks, just the texture to it, the sauce drizzled on top, the glistening sheen of it. Ugh. God, I'm getting hungry. It's a dish fit for a king. Sanji says, It's done. Huge revolver mutton steak." Carney turns to Zeph, saying, "Head chef." Zeph eyes the food. He comes in, he tastes the sauce, and without even giving Sanji a glance, he says to one of the chefs, "Take this out to the table. Don't leave the customer waiting." And Sanji, you can see the shock, the amazement just wash over his body. As the food passes by, Patty and Carney, a lustful face falls across their visages, that smell wafting by them. Patty thinks to himself, "You're kidding me. Just a whiff of its aroma was nearly enough to carry me away." The chef places the food down to the ladies, saying, "Your entree, mesdames." The ladies say, "Oh wow, it looks delicious." They cut into the meat easily. They look at the texture and the color of the meat, saying, "Ooh, what a lovely red color." One of the women places the meat in her mouth, and a shocked expression falls across it. And so we get the classic Shokugeki no Soba clothes ripping off, but it includes Patty and Carney too. And yeah, I didn't need any of that. The ladies say, "It's so good. Deliciously gammy mutton savoriness, underscored by a decadently ripe strawberries." Underscored by decadently ripe strawberries with a note of a fruity wine. Each cut has a different texture to make. Each texture has a different texture too, making every bite a new joy to explore. I didn't see the comma. And they're all elegantly escorted by the meaty gravy and aromatic herbs. Still, it's odd he's only a boy, but the dish he made, it has this strange, irresistibly adult allure to it. It's as if I've gotten a glimpse into the far future. Oh, snap! it's 40-year-old Sanji. Oh my god. And she thinks to see how Sanji's matured as a cook and as a man. Like, it's the beautiful Sanji with the long wavy hair that comes down just so. It's your daughter calls me daddy too, Sanji. Zeph walks over to Sanji, still cooking, saying, "The dish you made, it had a decent amount of heat to it." Zeph gives him a smile. Sanji blushes. But then, of course, Zeph has to put the boy in his place, saying, "But you still got a ways to go, you little squirt. A long ways. The seasoning, the cooking time, everything needs work. Learn how to put together a decent dish, squirt." Sanji snaps back, "What? Hey, I deserve some respect after that dish. And stop calling me squirt." Zeph said, "A squirt's a squirt. Now get your butt back to work, squirt." Sanji states, "Listen here, you crap geezer." An unknown amount of time passes. We see a rather large man with his date stating, "And that just annoyed me, so I beat them all up." Anyway, let's head to the next spot. I'm keeping you company all night, sweetie. The woman says, oh, you. Son, the man turns to someone and says, you there, the bill, and make it snappy. It's Sanji. He says, but you haven't finished your meal, sir. The man says, huh? I'm done with it. What's it matter to you? Sanji states, come on, don't be that way, sir. Can't you clean your plate first? Wasting food is just asking for trouble. The man turns to Zeph and says, trouble? Mess with me and you'll get hurt, kid. Hey, chef, who's this brat think he is? Zeph states, that is this ship's sous chef, Barati's second in command. Man, classic style, Sanji. The man says, this little kid? You're serious? You're sous chef? Guess the Barati isn't all it's cracked up to be. The man then throws the food on the ground, saying, not touching the food here was the right move. And of course you know what happens next. The man is beaten into an inch of his life. Party comes out stating again, that idiot. Trouble, guys. Somebody stop the sous chef. The chefs are all holding Sanji back as he's kicking the man in the face. Sanji dismisses the man he beat up, saying, hey, why aren't you cooking, huh? Stand around shuffling your feet and I'll skin the lot of you. Petty states, we would be if you hadn't started a brawl, squid for brains. Carney states, just you wait. We're gonna kick your butt one day, you lousy cook. Back in the kitchen, Patty questions Carney, asking, is it me or is Sanji weirdly on edge these days? Carney states, it ain't you. He's been this way for a while. He just got promoted to sous chef, too. What's his problem? I don't get it. Patty adds, who gets what that squid for brains thinks? Don't bother trying. But Zeph, he laments what Sanji's been going through. As Sanji thinks back to his time in the Iron Mask, locked away, the shame of Germa, when he was a little child reading the book about the All Blue. Wow. It has all the fish from the four seas. I want to go there someday, once I'm finally out of here. And you see Sanji smoking his cigarette in that same familiar spot where he'll one day meet the future king of the pirates. I will admit, there were a few little instances here and there where I feel like we really could have done a few stories, like more of his time in the Kamabaka Kingdom. I think that was one of the chapters too, with him going up against the cooking masters there, but I don't know, I feel like there were just so many more cooking adventures you could have had with Sanji. And part of me wishes they were maybe a little bit more linear. But at the same time, there's a certain, I don't know, freshness to the way they told this story where it jumped across the timeline from before he met Luffy to not too long after to pre-time skip to post-time skip. But they always paint Sanji with so much skill. You know, and in a time where so many people keep putting down Sanji, it's just like, oh, with the addition of Jinbei, he's kicked out of the Monster Trio. Oh, with the addition of Yamato, he's kicked out of the Monster Trio. Oh, Whole Cake Island was supposed to be Sanji's time to shine, but it was such a bad showing for him. It's just like, no. It was a beautiful showing for Sanji. And strength is not what defines Sanji. That was literally the whole point of the encounter with the Germa and his father. That Sanji doesn't care about strength or power. He cares about cooking. That's all he ever really cared about. He loves to cook, and he's just grown a deeper appreciation for it over time. Cooking is what defines Sanji, is what he finds value in, and what he is searching for isn't strength. It's to find something new and interesting to cook, to make for people to enjoy. Yeah, I love seeing Sanji in combat moments and stuff like that, but that's not all there is to Sanji. And to distill him down to how strong he is feels like you miss a lot of the nuance. But hey, tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you wish this series would go on a little longer, or do you feel like this is the good time to end it? And what did you think about this story of the younger days of Sanji, the prince who cooks towards the future? I really do have to admit, I'm gonna miss seeing this series from time to time. Honestly, to a certain degree, I wouldn't mind if a chapter came out at least once a year. But I do appreciate these little glimpses that different artists do for the One Piece series. Between this and Boichi's series about Ace, just these little moments that really highlight some of our favorite characters in ways that the manga, the original manga just doesn't really have time to, especially with the fact that Oda is trying to bring the series to its conclusion. But this also serves as a good reminder that Sanji is searching for something more. Not approval, but the all blue. A dream within a dream. But again, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you like this video, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. That way you don't miss out on the next video. And until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I hope to see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.